Good morning, geometry support class. So today we're going to be talking about solving by factoring, which is a review of an Algebra 1 topic that you may have already talked about in your geometry class. But we're just going to do a couple little problems to review right quick what you need to do. The key to solving by factoring is that your equation has to be equal to 0 and you need to factor it. And then after it's factored, it's super easy from there. So if we look at question number 1 together, question number 1 is already in factored form. So most of the hard work is done. Once your equation is in factored form, all you have to do is set each factor equal to 0. So I'm going to take 6b minus 5 and set that equal to 0. And the other factor, 5b minus 2, and set that equal to 0. And then we'll solve those both for b. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides of my equal sign. So that gives me 6b equals 5. And then divide both sides by 6. The 6's cancel, so that gives me one solution as b equals 5 over 6. For the other factor, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Here, those cancel, so 5b equals 2, and then divide both sides by 5 to get b by itself. So b equals 2/5. So those are my two solutions, 5 over 6 and 2 over 5. All right, so that's what you do if it's already in factored form. Now, question number 3 is not in factored form, so we're going to have to do a little bit of work first. So for question number 3, remember when we're factoring, the first thing we always look for is whether there's a common factor. So if I look at the numbers 7 and 8, I know that there's not a number that will go evenly into both 7 and 8. So there's no GCF for the numbers, but if I look at the variables, n squared and n, I can take an n out. So n is the greatest common factor. And so when I take out an n, that leaves me with 7n, because n times 7n gives me 7n squared. And it leaves me with an 8, because n times 8 is 8n. Bring down my equal 0. And now all I have to do is set each of those factors equal to 0. So I'm going to take the n and set that equal to 0. And then I'm going to take 7n plus 8 and set that one equal to 0. Now for n equals 0, there's no more work. That is one of the solutions. The n is already by itself. For 7n plus 8, I've got to subtract 8 from both sides. So 7n equals negative 8. And then divide both sides by 7. So when I divide by 7, that leaves me with n equals negative 8 over 7. So my two solutions for number 3 are negative 8 over 7 and 0. All right, and the only other one we're going to look at together today is number 11. All right, so if you go on down your page to number 11, one thing to notice about number 11 is that it is not equal to 0. So I have to get it equal to 0 first before I can even start factoring. So to make it equal 0, I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides of the equal sign. That cancels out, leaves me with a 0. And 7p squared minus 38p, and then 22 minus 7 is 15. All right, once I've done that, I want to see, is there a common factor? And for this one, 7 is a prime number. So in other words, nothing will go into 7 except for 7. And I know 7 will not go evenly into 38 and 15. So there's no common factor. And then I have to decide, is this a dots problem, a diamond problem, grouping, or SOAP? And there are 3 terms, so that tells me it is a diamond problem. So I'm going to make my diamond. Remember, we multiply a times c to go on top, so 7 times 15 would give me 105 on the top of my diamond, and b goes on the bottom, so negative 38. Now from there, I'm going to use the calculator to find the value. So I'm going to put in the calculator, I'm going to hit the table button and go to the y equals and do the top number, 105 divided by x. I want to start at 0. And then I'm just going to scroll through until I find a pair that multiplied, we know all these multiply to give me 105, but I want to find the pair that adds to give me 38. So when I get to the 3, I can see that 3 and 35 would add to give me 38. So that's going to be my pair. Now since my 38 is negative, I'm going to make both of those negative. Remember to divide the side numbers by a into the variable, so 7p. And I wrote a 38 there instead of a 35. Let's see if we fix that. There we go. All right, then, to finish up, we need to see if these will reduce. Well, 3 over 7 will not reduce, so my factor is 7p minus 3. And my factor here, this will reduce. Negative 35 divided by 7, that reduces to negative 5 over 1p. So my factor is p minus 5. And now that it's in factored form, all I have to do is set each factor equal to 0 and solve for p. So 7p minus 3 equals 0, and p minus 5 equals 0. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides of the equal sign. Gives me 7p equals 3, and then divide both sides by 7. So p equals 3 over 7 is one solution. Then for this one, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And that leaves me with p equals 5 as my second solution. So my two solutions for 11 are 3 over 7 and 5. All right, so go ahead and try the rest of those. And when you're finished, make sure you turn in your worksheet. Good luck.